Dark yellow and strong smelling pee could also be a reason of dehydration. You know, unakojoa na mpaka unanusia mkojo wako, yani una harufu mbaya. Your pee is smelly. And if your pee will be smelly, trust you me, your sweat will also be very smelly. You see, jasho already inanuka vibaya. Now imagine jasho ya mtu mwenye hanywe maji. It's terrible, it's heavy, it's uncomfortable. It's a sign that you actually are not having enough fluid intake. Hello everybody and welcome to Naomi's All-Inclusive World, where today I'll be looking at a thing or two about dehydration and just how important hydration is to every human being and some of the dangers we stand to experience when we do not hydrate enough. It's one thing to want to take in fluids just because you're feeling thirsty or you have a dry throat or probably you just feel like your lips are dry. It's a totally different reason to intentionally take in fluids because you know the importance of them in the system, number one. Number two, because you also are selective with what fluids you are taking and what importance these fluids bring in your body. Now, dehydration in the simplest of language, ama that hali ya kukosa maji ya kutosha kwenye mwili wa mtu, in the simplest of language, is just that dangerous loss of body fluid that could be caused by, you know, illnesses, that could be caused by, you know, just withdrawal from water intake, you know, and so on. Heat, maybe if there is excessive heat around your external space, so that then you're sweating a lot, you're losing fluids from your body, but then the intake is less. Before time, then you might actually be dehydrated. It could also be from reasons such as medication side effects, because some side effects of the medications we take to make us better, some of them actually like make us really lose fluids in the process of them getting out of the system, among many others. So depending also with what you are going through in your daily life, we lose fluids from our bodies on different specs, on different levels. A normal person who is just say walking to work and sitting at a desk the whole day working, then coming back home, might not necessarily experience dehydration the same way say an athlete would. Say the same way someone who is doing some manual work kama fundi wa mjengo, you know, ama mtu ambaye ana operate very heavy machines will be losing fluids. So again, depending with what we are doing on the daily basis, what work our bodies are going through, we lose the fluids on different levels. Now, some of the symptoms, zile dalili ambazo zitakuonyesha kwamba you need more fluids in your body or you're actually experiencing or going through dehydration will be things like, you know, just frequent feeling tired. You just feel tired. Hata asubuhi unaamka when you should be feeling fresh and rested, but you just feel tired. You might want to look at your fluid intake. Your body might be trying to tell you that you are running a risk of dehydration or you are going through dehydration. Another symptom of dehydration could be something like just having a dry mouth and very like dry looking eyes and lips. Kuna watu hata mtu akipaka Vaseline mdomo, bado the lips just look dry and very almost cracky, like they look dry, you can just tell, and not moist and good. You also want to look at your hydration level. You might maybe not be having enough fluid intake. Then another symptom could be just peeing very little and very colored pee. You know, having very little urine and one that has very deep color. You almost can point it to a certain color, either maroon or yellow kabisa. You know, it looks dirty. You know, healthy urine should look close to colorless. Maybe not completely colorless, but it should be close to colorless. When your urine is so colored, you almost want to like relate it to maroon or to red or to, you know, pink or whatever color. Then it might be a sign that your organs are not hydrated enough, and therefore the toxins in the bodies actually in your body would show through emissions such as urine. So colored urine and also very little of it. Mkojo kidogo kabisa. Na sayo labda ni mtu mzima. Another reason also, another symptom rather of risking dehydration is feeling very thirsty. Ideally, we shouldn't only take water when we feel thirsty. You know, it's like telling me the only time you would think of taking your car, your automobile to for checkup or to a garage will be when it breaks down. Really, by the time it breaks down, it might be too late, number one. Number two, it might have messed other parts. So that's why, like, a serious disciplined driver will have his or her car serviced in time after it gets to a certain mileage, will have it washed, you know, taken to a car wash after every certain duration of time, depending also with the season, because when it's rainy and so on, the cars get more dirty, unlike when it's maybe just dusty or when it's not, and so on. So again, depending with the lifestyle you are leading, I cannot emphasize this enough. We need to make sure we hydrate ourselves good enough. So by the time your body is craving for water, like sasa unasikia kiu, then you really need water. Ideally, it should never get to that level. Stop saying, I don't take water because I hardly feel thirsty. You do not have to wait for you to be thirsty to be able to take water. Like, learn to take water, you know, a certain duration after your meal. Learn to just drink water as often as you can. That then will actually have your body know that there's always water coming in, and therefore it doesn't have to run the risk of actually having you almost forced to stop when now the thirst is there and you really have to look for water. Dark yellow and strong smelling pee could also be a reason of dehydration. You know, you unakojoa na mpaka unanusia mkojo wako, yani una harufu mbaya. Your pee is smelly, and if your pee will be smelly, trust you me, your sweat will also be very smelly. You see, jasho already inanuka vibaya. Now imagine jasho ya mtu mwenye hanywe maji. It's terrible, it's heavy, it's uncomfortable. It's a sign that you actually are not having enough fluid intake. And lastly, just feeling dizzy and like lightheaded most of the time. Like when you just get up or when you move a bit, you feel dizzy. It's like you lose your balance for a few seconds before you catch it back, you know, and so on. It could also be a sign that maybe your fluid intake is not sufficient, and you might want to look at that. So guys, I can never emphasize enough the importance of hydration. And hydration here is again not taking any fluid. You cannot tell me since you had like 4 or 5 bottles of beer you have hydrated. No. So we are ruling out alcoholic beverages. We are ruling out processed beverages, really. So don't tell me nilikunywa soda glasses mbili asubuhi kwa hivyo niko sawa. No. We are talking about water intake in this case. Every other non-water drink you are taking in will need water to clean the toxins out. So the beer you are taking is going to need you to take water to clean the toxins out of your body. The soda you are going to take, the iced tea, for those ones who take iced tea or sweetened tea, for you who is taking busa or whatever, you are going to need water to clean your system of any toxins that the body doesn't need. So guys, water and more water is what I'm talking about here. And again, we are parents, we are guardians, we are big brothers and sisters and so on. It will be very easy for us to ask those who look up to us to actually practice hydrating themselves if we do it ourselves. Can you imagine a dad, a mom who hardly hydrates herself, who hardly takes water, trying to actually have their kids take water? It will be like, but mommy, you don't take water. But daddy, you hardly take water. So, and na uko sawa, so like, what's the point? So again, like, let's leave what we preach. So let's make it a practice. Just start it as simple as you can. Like, get up in the morning and just have a glass of water down your system before you start the day, before you have your tea, before you have your porridge, before you start your day's errands. And then in the course of the day, kunywa tena kesho hivyo. Before you know it, it will become almost like a drill for the day, and it will not be a struggle. It will not be almost like, oh my goodness, it's a task. You know, ni kama sasa ni dawa, naenda kumeza dawa and so on. It will become very doable when you start it pole pole. And the last thing I can just mention is some sicknesses like diabetes and cystic fibroids and kidney diseases and so on usually increase dehydration risk and the need for fluids. Because like I mentioned earlier in my in this video, depending also with the medication we are taking, some medications kind of drain us, make us either lose the taste, so water tastes bad, and if we are not very careful we might end up avoiding water. Some medications require that we take in a lot of fluids for the toxins to be cleaned out. So an example of that would be if someone suffers from diabetes, kidney diseases and so on. And then also just people with uncontrolled diabetes urinate frequently. So utapata kwamba now, in case you do not hydrate yourself well, and yet say you are suffering from this kidney disease as an example, you realize now you will almost actually not pee. You will almost not go for your short call because one, unakwenda kukojoa nini na hakuna maji umekunywa, and yet you need to do that so that you actually like kinda clean the toxins out of your body. Let's just remember this, just ensuring that our bodies stay hydrated will save us a lot of troubles, will save us a lot of inconveniences that will come when we do not have enough fluids in our system. So it's worth it, and trust you me, lack of proper hydration in our bodies can be very disabling. And by the time unafika hospitalini, wanakuweka drip ya maji, labda they are doing all this, it will be like, what, why can't we avoid such things by just making sure that we do our bit, that we hydrate ourselves very well, we stay hydrated. And that's the only way actually also we can help our organs, our kidneys, our lungs and so on to just clean our systems of any toxins that need to come out. So yeah, I thought I needed to mention that. Thank you for your time. I will see you in my next episode. And in the meantime, hit the subscribe button if you're my first timer. And for my returning customers or subscribers or viewers, asante sana. Let's continue spreading this gospel of health and hygiene and just disability awareness. And like you realize, some of these things actually just require the simplest of practices in our lives, and this will make our lives and those around us much, much better. Thank you, and see you in my next episode. Bye.